sampai 8Ds kan. And then kita boleh go further for ND kan. So you need to define the end tu kan. So you boleh tengok lah kan, 4D kan, 4D is BIM is all about kan. But how BIM is adopted in Malaysia and in particular. Okay. So it's all started with this I think they started in 2008, but in 2008 tu they not fully emphasize in term of BIM for the project lah. So everybody and maksudnya all the stakeholders. So you kena ingat balik kita punya construction project life cycle. So all the stakeholders ni means the client, the designers, the architect. Dia akan buat proses of design. Maksudnya as a CNS consultant, dia akan dia punya design, dia punya output dia is the design, dia punya design solution tu lah kan, dia punya drawing. Selepas dia buat all the analysis tu, dia produce a drawing kan. A drawing maksudnya a drawing yang telah di-draw lah, telah di-draw dalam 2D ataupun 3D. So that is dia punya design output. So in 2008 masing-masing buat sendiri lah. Maksudnya architect dia buat dia punya own design. Architect, engineers pun dia akan buat dia punya own design. Okay, so and then start in 2015. So they start, CIDB start this initiative called as construction industry transformation program. And so they see that this BIM can transform the construction industry. Kan? Maksudnya nak transform the construction industry yang kita tahu construction industry ni dia terbabit dengan bad punya reputation lah. And including accident rate yang paling tinggi, job tak kemas, dan maksudnya not professional as other sectors, contohnya accounting ataupun banking ataupun manufacturing, and it's not the reputation of construction industry is not good as other sectors. And contohnya aviation sector, you tengok dia punya industri kemas lah kan compared to the construction industry kan. Disebabkan oleh kita punya nature of work tu kan. Nature of work tu disebabkan we deal with the weather, the environment yang menyebabkan kita tak klasifikasikan sebagai industri yang menjadi contoh lah kan. Kalau ikutkan industri yang paling terkebelakang daripada all the industry kan. Even you tengok kalau you tengok why this oil and gas industry they're much more better in term of dia punya reputation, and because of apa? You boleh guess kenapa oil and gas industry is better, much more better than the construction industry in term of dia punya reputation, in term of dia punya productivity dan sebagainya. Can someone guess?
Dia penangan minyak kot.
Apa dia?
Penangan minyak kot. Dia banyak keluarkan hasil.
Okay. So dia banyak keluarkan hasil minyak tu dan dia make money lah kan. Dia make money. So dia punya value of the project tu billion kan. Dia punya value of the project tu billion compare to kita punya construction industry just million. Million pun share ramai mana, maksudnya yang terlibat dalam construction industry. And then banyak lagi lah factors, contohnya kita pakai foreign workers kan, and then the contractor margin kecil, so that dia nak hantar training for certification pun susah dan sebagainya lah kan. So banyak lagi lah factor-factor tu. So this initiative from CIDB ni, they see that BIM can transform this industry towards betterment lah and toward the productivity and so on. Okay, so the fourth strategic thrust of CITP is quality, safety dan sebagainya lah, and environmental sustainability, productivity and internalizations. Okay. So I think kita boleh skip lah all these facts ni, you boleh baca sendiri I think. So okay, so yang ni pun kan, you may end up dekat company yang buat environmental impact assessment. Kan? Maksudnya you bekerja dengan company yang buat environment impact assessment, you study pasal environment punya impact lah kan. All the test yang you nak kena buat, all the data yang you nak dapatkan and then produce a report kan. Okay, so maybe you end up dekat this company, traffic impact assessment punya company. Tapi benda ni dia, orang kata kalau ikutkan skill of this market, still low lah kan, still low. Maksudnya kalau company yang you akan join tu is a small and medium enterprise lah, and compare to kalau kata you join a developer is a big developer, and tapi developer you akan belajar lain. Maksudnya you akan you punya exposure you lain, you just manage and you not design. And kalau you join the engineering consultant firm, and so you terlibat dalam proses of design tu, and secara technical, and you produce a design, and then you akan tengok you punya hasil tu, apabila you design tu lah, and so you may end up dekat company di sepanjang the project life cycle ni kan. Kalau kata you nak mencuburi meneruskan dalam bidang engineering ni lah, and engineering in civil, and actually you boleh je go to other sector, contohnya oil and gas, and cuma you all nak sanggup ke tak lah kan. So oil and gas industry is not easy kan. When you boleh tahan kerja, okay, tak ada masalah kan. So 6 months dekat atas kapal, dekat atas pelantar minyak, and 6 months, and then muda-muda boleh lah kan. After you ada family and so on, you have to sacrifice kan. So dia punya payment is quite good lah kan, but you have to sacrifice a lot kan, compared to you work in onshore lah kan. Onshore maksudnya dekat darat lah kan. Okay, so ada lagi lah. So yang ni I think saya tak perlu ulang, kita dah go through banyak kali, cuma saya nak you aware kan. So you kalau dalam construction industry ni you may end up dekat sini lah kan, ataupun you nak jump to another sector kan. Okay, so BIM, and what is BIM actually, and what is BIM? I think most of you aware and what is BIM kan. Previously pun ada sahabat kita share pasal training untuk BIM kan. So actually BIM ni is quite, dia actually dah agak matured dekat Malaysia, tapi the thing is the company dia nak invest and to upgrade dia punya hardware and software tu is susah lah kan. Maksudnya dia perlu company-company yang besar saja yang sanggup kan, yang sanggup invest. Maksudnya dia sanggup membeli software ni dan juga hardware. They need to upgrade their hardware and so on lah kan. So at the end of the day, dia depend on dia punya adaptability lah, adaptability. And kalau kita tengok the oil and gas industry, and oil and gas industry, all the company yang even jadi subcontractor pun dia punya margin dia besar, so dia just boleh beli this kind of software, and sebab kita dekat Malaysia kita still guna software tu daripada overseas, and even kita punya engineering code pun kita pakai, and kita just pakai daripada overseas, kita tak develop on our own, and actually we have the capacity to develop the code in our own, but still and the force and to do so belum lagi berjaya lah. Adalah beberapa code, maksudnya kita still pakai MS code, tapi we still always refer to BS or Euro code lah kan. And the movement tu belum lagi strong kan, the initiative by IEM, and even the BIM punya bodies yang govern this BIM pun dekat Malaysia is still CIDB, and So under CIDB, they call as My BIM Center lah, My BIM Center. And this is the government platform. So ada lagi the NGO platform yang govern this BIM technology ni, and in Malaysia. But in apa nama international, and you boleh Google and smart building, and smart building ni is apa nama, dia macam NGO lah, kan. Dia provide they update and what are the latest tools for the industry to use this BIM technology lah, kan. And then of course the software company lah, software company, kan. Dulu you all still pakai lah AutoCAD, and so AutoCAD ni dia punya BIM punya apa nama division dia sendiri, maksudnya dia punya software dia sendiri, dia panggil Revit. And then banyak lagi lah Navisworks, kan, Navisworks. So all this is just a tool, and you kena faham this is the tool from Autodesk. Autodesk is the company software, and company software. This is the company software. Yang dia buat software, and dia bukan buat software. Autodesk ni dia terkenal dengan AutoCAD lah first, kan. Computer aided design, kan, CAD, computer aided design. Okay. So BIM is essentially value creating collaboration through the entire life cycle of the asset ataupun of the project lah, and underpinned by creation and collision and exchange of shared 3D model. So maksudnya when we talk about BIM, and in 3D and above, and 3D and above, maksudnya the dimension that dia boleh look into is the 3D. 3D means kalau 2D you nampak macam ni, kan. Kalau 3D you akan nampak bentuk dia macam ni lah, kan. So the information yang you akan dapat di x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, kan. So the more information that you see, and in your platform tu, kalau kata you pakai komputer, lah. Kalau you pakai tablet or handphone, so you akan dapat a better view, kan. So when you have the better view, kan, so you dapat visualize, and what are the how the works to be constructed immediately, and compared to kalau kata you lukis 3D, so you kena tengok page by page, and you kena tengok section XX, section YY dan sebagainya, kan. Of course kita at the end of the day kita tak boleh lari juga, kan, to produce the 2D drawing, kan, sebab kita nak tengok the detail of the information tu, and sama juga macam you all dah buat sebelum ni, and you all dah buat taking off, kan. So you nak kena tengok the detail tu in every page. Kadang-kadang nak kena selok muka surat belakang depan balik, nak tengok information, tak ada dia punya length, tak ada dia punya ni. So is convenient to get the visualization in 3D and above lah, and above, and they call as ND, and ND modeling, and ND modeling. So the N ni you can define by yourself, and actually dia dah define N ni sampai ke 8D and 8D. So you can upgrade 9D and sampailah 100D, and as long as you can define and what are the information provided untuk dimasukkan dalam satu-satu design tu, kan. So this is BIM ni is all about the process, kan. Dia not just a tool, it's a process lah, kan. Coordinated a set of process and supported by technology, dia kata, and add value through creating and managing and sharing the properties of the asset. And Mott MacDonald, and so Mott MacDonald ni is the company from UK, and company from UK, and sebelum ni masa saya bekerja dengan SSP. So BIM is a modeling technology associated with set of tool process to produce and communicate and analyze the digital through construction project life cycle. So this is National Big Steering Committee, and so this is Malaysia punya level lah, Malaysia punya level. Okay, so potentially this BIM ni actually dia boleh create the model. So daripada model tu kita boleh dapatkan the information, kan? The information so that kita boleh memudahkan tugas dekat site, kan? Tugas dekat site dan juga tugas-tugas dalam proses of project life cycle ni, kan? Contohnya kalau you as a QS, kan? Kalau kata the end product of you punya design of CNS and design of M&E and design of architecture, and they produce the BIM punya file. BIM punya file selalunya dalam IFC model, and dalam IFC model ni dia masuk pula dalam satu software untuk cari dia punya quantity, and so dia ada dia punya specific quantity tak, but not many QS yang aware pasal benda ni, kan? So kalau company dia pun nak invest pun dia nak kena ada dia punya investment lah, maksudnya nak kena beli this software, kan? Okay, so to generate the quantity and automatically from this information and from the CNS information and so on lah. So dah ada tool tu, but the thing is kita nak guna ke tak, kan? Memang ada tool tu, but we still selesa dengan kaedah traditional lah. But you punya process of taking off tu, maksudnya the fundamentally tak akan berubah, tak akan berubah, still sama, but penggunaan teknologi ni selalunya dia akan memudahkan lah, kan? Macam dulu tak ada WhatsApp, kan? Tak ada WhatsApp, sekarang ni dah ada WhatsApp, so senang nak hebahkan nak ada kelas bila, kan? Kalau dulu nak bagi email, entah bila you all nak buka email pun tak tahu, kan? Tapi dulu, zaman dulu lagi tak ada email, you bayangkan nak utuskan surat dan sebagainya. So it's a part of communication jugalah. It's a part of the communication punya platform, and to communicate. When we talk about communication in our engineering punya dia bagi proses ni, you as engineer, you nak communicate you punya design tu untuk di-construct oleh kontraktor, kan? Betul. So that is you punya platform, you punya design output yang you table out dekat drawing tu is you punya communication platform, kan? Maksudnya you nak communicate dengan you punya kontraktor macam mana, kan? Sebab tu nak kena ada drawing, you kena produce a drawing, so that is a part of communication, kan? When we have BIM ni, so BIM ni katakan kalau kata project tu design and build, kan? Kalau you tahu sebelum ni pun kita dah mention pasal design and build punya kontrak. So kalau design and build tu, kontraktor tu dah ada dah, kita dah tentukan kontraktor tu di peringkat awal. So kita dah boleh share all the information yang kita as a designer, kita boleh share the information in dia panggil CDE platform, kan? Common Data Environment. And macam you share macam satu cloud file lah, kan? Macam satu cloud file, but this is CDE environment is strictly for the stakeholders in the project. And ni C stand for Common Data Environment, and Common Data Environment. Okay, so the ecosystem, kan, of the BIM ni. So daripada drawing, kan, you produce a drawing. So you nak produce a drawing tu, you need to have the information lah, kan? Information about the site, kan? Katakan you nak design satu project tu you nak kena ada berapa besar, location dia dekat mana, dan all the information related to the site yang you nak design tu, kan? Dan sometimes you design project tu dekat tengah-tengah KL, kan? So kalau tengah-tengah KL ni memang haywire lah, sebab you nak kena dapatkan information, kan, dekat the services dekat bawah tanah, utilities dekat bawah tanah, bersimpang siuh, kan? So that data tu mungkin dia tak ada secara digital lagi, kan? So that is the challenge sekarang ni, kan? Kita nak make the data tu jadi digital, sebab sebelum ni we submit, and okay, at the end of the project, you kena ingat dulu saya pernah cerita, you refer balik kepada ni, kan? At the end of the day, sebelum nak hand over to the client, they need to provide an as-built drawing. And as-built drawing ni maksudnya selepas kita siap kan, as a contractor you need to submit this as-built drawing to the client kan. So still as-built drawing ni dia submit dalam hard copy kan, macam you submit assignment PDF kan, you submit assignment. So all the data tu is not being digitalized lagi kan. So the way forward kan, as-built drawing ni pun kita boleh suruh kita punya contractor submit using using CDE environment. Maksudnya dia update all the information dalam 3D punya format dan dalam 4D punya format, so that you dapat the soft copy of it lah kan, so that you boleh visualize dalam tu, so that you get the information secara automated lah kan, secara automated, instead of you buka selai-selai dan masukkan data tu secara manual. And for the facility management untuk buat proses yang seterusnya, yang nak operate and maintain, nak tengok piping tu pakai piping jenis apa kan, beam tu pakai jenis apa, so that dia akan digunakan untuk further lagi lah kan. Okay, so berbalik kepada mana tadi, drawings tadi. So maksudnya from the owners, designers, contractor and inspector, so the ecosystem tu untuk BIM ni is orang kata lengkap lah kan, is complement each other kan. Cuma that's why before you nak menggunakan BIM ni kan, dia ada satu guideline kan. Even JKR pun dia dah keluarkan dia punya guideline and for the project yang menggunakan BIM, so dia ada dia punya JKR punya BIM punya guideline kan. So that macam mana you nak share the information, you nak produce data apa dan sebagainya. So dia ada dah guideline. So apa yang saya cerita hari ni just an overview kan. If you interested to go further, so you need to go further lah, maksudnya attend the class. And then kalau kata you nak explore ni kan, nanti saya akan cerita how to explore ni as students and as student. Okay, so from the drawing and then you create the data and then you create a model and you create a model. Okay, so of course sebelum you nak produce the drawing, as engineers you kena buat analisis ni kan. So the analysis software banyak kan. Kalau you masuk esok ni IDP, maybe you akan pakai kalau tak salah saya still pakai Esteem and still pakai Esteem. Zaman saya pun pakai Esteem, zaman you pun pakai Esteem. Tak apalah, at least ada software yang you pakai for the structural analysis. Dan banyak lagi lah software yang you all akan pakai. Ataupun you tak pakai software pun you boleh kira pakai manual kan, pakai manual. Pakai manual tu means you ada code kan, Eurocode tu you dapat you buat sendiri lah kan, secara manual kan, masukkan kat dalam template Excel pun you boleh dapatkan dia punya output. So output is you punya design output tu lah kan, berapa batang besi nak pakai. Contohnya you design for structural part kan, so you design for beam kan. For beam tu you ambil kira dia punya loading apa semua tu, so that is called as analysis kan. So the output katakan beam 200 kali 300 can cater the load daripada level first floor level ni ataupun second floor level ni kan. So that is you punya output. So daripada output tu you produce a drawing and produce a drawing. And ni saya cerita secara general and so that you get an overview lah kan. Sebab you all tak habis ambil subjek lagi kan. So nanti you all akan nampak lah benda ni kan. So daripada drawing tu you produce a data kan. And sometimes the data dalam drawing ni is maksudnya dia tak automated lah kan. Dia tak automated, dia tak, you kena tengok satu-satu. Sometimes you miss the information and so on. And so with the additional of BIM ni, so the data tu so you boleh buka secara tersusun lah kan. Okay, and then you buat model kan. So you buat model. So all the stakeholders in one project can use you punya data tu kan. So semua berhubung dengan satu platform they call as a common data environment. So this is the infrastructure life cycle. So from the engineering, analysis and simulation, sometimes you pakai banyak software, you jangan cerita lah kan. Beribu-ribu software, tak kisah you pakai software apa pun, at the end of the day you dapat the output, the design output. At the end of the day you dapat design output. even you tak pakai software, you pakai manual pun, at the end of the day you dapat the design output tu is enough lah kan. So lepas you dapat design output tu kan, so sebab dalam satu projek tu not civil saja kan, dia banyak disiplin datang kan. Banyak disiplin yang common is MEP and architectural lah, and dia banyak lagi, dia depend on the type of project and nowadays project yang banyak lah in Malaysia especially, banyak projek-projek berkenaan dengan railway punya projek, railway related punya projek, MRT, LRT, ECRL and yang tak jadi pergi Singapura tu, satu tu. So banyak lah, so banyak projek, so it depend on the nature of the project kan. So dia punya disciplinary tu kan. So walaupun you buat dia punya walaupun kita ada the 3D platform tu kan, but in term of documentation kan, we still have to print in as a construction document lah kan. As for now, in the future maybe dia dah tukar kontrak tu pun dalam bentuk digital dan sebagainya kan. As for now we still need to have this so-called the hard copy one lah kan, hard copy. So the construction document must be printed and that's why you need to produce a BQ, the tick punya BQ including the kalau contract document tu including BQ, including drawings dan sebagainya. Kan? Okay, dia melalui proses legal pula kan, legal. Kalau kata tak ada black and white, tak ada legal, tak ada perjanjian antara satu pihak dengan pihak yang lain kan. So it depend on the workflow and it depend on the workflow. Okay, so okay, sometimes we go to selepas kita buat the construction document, we go for the process generating from 3D, 4D, 5D, it depend on the information yang provided kan. Okay, BIM is a process kan, and also a tool lah kan, also a tool. Okay, automated and supported by technology. Okay, so why BIM? Client benefit through the better design, efficient and reliable delivery of facility, consultant greater value of collaborative design, contractor reduce the risk of cost overrun. Okay, sebab kita ada banyak stakeholders in the project and sometimes kan, kadang-kadang consultant je yang pakai BIM and kontraktor ni, kontraktor pekak je and dia tak ada software apa, dia just subcon biasa kan. So benda ni lah kan, disebabkan oleh low adoption because of not many organizations yang akan pakai, even AutoCAD pun masih kontraktor ni is not familiarized and so in the near future maybe the contractor ni akan menggunakan lah kan. Okay, so ni a bit detail about BIM and conventional, and BIM and conventional pakai McLeamy curve ni kan. So actually dia just nak menunjukkan if you using BIM kan, kalau biru ni is BIM, okay, the work tu is kalau biru ni BIM, okay, the workflow of BIM, kalau kata project tu pakai BIM, the design process tu banyak kerja dekat sini kan. Kalau traditional, conventional, dia banyak kerja dekat construction dan banyak kerja dekat construction stage kan. Dekat sinilah ada berlaku silap design, overlook, silap dimension dan sebagainya, so that consultant keep on revise dia punya drawing kan. Ada revision A, revision B, C dan sebagainya kan. So actually kalau traditionally dulu kontraktor yang banyak solve problem, disebabkan kontraktor tak tahu information ni, dia akan tanya dia punya consultant lah, and which is engineer. So engineer dia akan tengok balik dia punya design, rupanya dia ada silap in design. So dia buat revision A, revision B dan sebagainya. So compared to BIM, So bila you buat design tu secara thoroughly, so you tengok all the information, you collaborate. Kalau dalam satu projek bangunan, we have CNS, we have MEP, we have architectural. So all must work together to produce a drawing lah, kan, to produce the end product, which is the design output tu. And so you dah solve all the clashes dekat sini. Maksudnya tak ada isu lagi. So maksudnya bila dah construction tu start, is going to be smooth. Kan? Even ada data, okay, kalau kata project tu akan ada revision, so bila ada revision, of course banyak VO. VO stand for variation order. Kan? VO, variation order. Maksudnya kalau ada penambahan kerja, ada tukar design sana sini, so banyaklah VO. Bila banyak VO, increase cost. And increase cost. And increase cost because of contractor tu akan claim lebih lah. So original contract kata tak payah buat ni. Tiba-tiba dah dekat construction nak kena buat ni. So nak kena tambah cost lah. And so that's why bila adanya BIM ni dia dapat solve all the issues tu lah. And so that's why dia kata kat sini. Kalau ni dapat decrease dia punya VO lah. Increase VO ni maksudnya the traditional. And kalau kata berkenaan dengan design issues ni, and of course akan berlaku rework dan juga increase the VO. Kalau pakai BIM, and dia akan reduce the VO. Okay, so this is the comparison between conventional and BIM. So you boleh tengok lah kan, you pun boleh dapat tahu kan. You dapat sense bahawa kalau ada BIM ni is more integrated, but the way on how you get the data tu a bit technical lah kan. To produce the data a bit technical kan. Cuma I think you all Gen Y, Gen Z selepas maksudnya you all lah akan kita lah akan membangunkan menggunakan sistem ni kan. Okay, ni sejarah, I think you all boleh baca sendiri. Okay, sejarah lagi. So in Malaysia kan, we have this called as BIM level 2 lah kan, in Malaysia especially. And for MRT project, they claim as dia punya project is BIM level 2 kan. Okay, so this is the level, and so level kosong is still pakai CAD, computer aided design, and level 1 and pakai 2D and 3D. And so okay, so the file yang you share is the collaboration file kan, collaboration file. Okay, kalau level 2 ni is more dia dah integrate kan between each of the stakeholders. Kalau 3D ni maybe level 1 ni dia masing-masing lagi kan. Architect dia buat dia punya own design, CNS dia buat dia punya own design. Kalau level 2 ni dia more to collaborate lah kan. Architect dia akan collaborate and dia akan collaborate dengan CNS, dengan MEP. Okay, so BIM level ni dia ada level 0 kan. Level 0 ni no collaboration. Okay, still pakai CAD application. Level 1 dia pakai 3D but not not integrated lah kan, not integrated. Okay, level 1, okay, level 1 and CDE dia dah pakai CDE but not everyone ataupun everyone in project pakai use that information. And then level 2 is more collaborative way kan. Maksudnya collaborative means dia selesaikan design tu kan dengan bersama-sama antara kontraktor dan juga antara arkitek dan juga CNS consultant contohnya kan. Okay, level 2, okay, level 3 is more fully collaboration lah kan, as open BIM kan. As for now dekat Malaysia still don't have this level 3 lah kan. Okay, so BIM in Malaysia and initiative, CITP initiative. Okay, ni dah banyak, kalau you baca paper pun National Cancer Institute pakai BIM kan, Nusa Jaya punya projek pun pakai BIM, and I don't know which level yang dia pakai, tapi dalam kita punya literature they mention about this project kan. Okay, and private project using BIM, contohnya MRT project and sometimes housing project, and sometimes they just they just claim that they using BIM, kan? But the benefit of BIM tu dia tak dapat, kan? Sometimes they claim project tu pakai BIM, kan? Tengok-tengok dia punya project manager don't know what is BIM is all about, kan? They just claim project tu pakai BIM, and they just claim, kan? But the benefit of dia actually pakai BIM ni kita dapat benefit lah, kan? Benefit. And contoh lah, kan? Student A dia pakai, tak tahu you all ingat tak zaman Nokia 3333 sekupang, kan? Zaman you all tak ada lagi lah. Maksudnya a conventional handphone lah, yang tak ada WhatsApp, tak ada Facebook, tak ada apa, kan? Ada seorang lagi student dia ada pakai smartphone, iPhone yang paling latest, harga 10,000, kan? Compare dengan yang seorang ni pakai Nokia 3310, kan? So at the end of the day, katakan lecturer ni, saya nak bagi analogi yang simple. Lecturer suruh dia attend kelas pakai platform pakai Microsoft Teams lah, kan? So dia pergilah dekat komputer dia, kan? Dia punya workflow, dia dapat information tu melalui handphone 3310 tu, melalui message yang biasa tu. Compare dengan yang student ni, dia banyak information, dia ada apps dekat dia punya iPhone tu, ada Google Classroom, dia ada WhatsApp group, dia ada macam-macam, ada. Tapi yang student ni tak attend kelas tu sebab dia kata dia miss information, kan? Dia miss information. Yang seorang student ni dia pakai Nokia tapi dia tak miss information. So sama juga, kalau you pakai BIM tak dapat benefit tu, kan? Tak guna juga, kan? Baik you pakai conventional, kan? Sama is the technology driven lah, kan? Patutnya kita pakai BIM ni kita dapat orang kata efektif lagi lah kita punya the way on how to produce result for the project, kan? For the any kind of project lah yang pakai BIM, kan? Okay, so that is perumpamaan yang saya boleh bagi yang nak kaitkan dengan kita lah, kan? Okay, so this is BIM in Malaysia. Okay, BIM dimension, kan? BIM dimension in Malaysia, CIDB punya terminologi, dia still pakai sampai 7D, kan? International dia dah go sequencing tu, you boleh integrate dengan sequencing. So you boleh you masukkan dalam software Navisworks ni, so you boleh tengok starting daripada foundation dia akan sampai siap. So you boleh tengok dia punya animation tu, and kalau you pakai software dan Navisworks ni. And Navisworks is daripada AutoCAD juga, and daripada Autodesk juga. Autodesk. Okay, 5D, and 5D is element of XYZ plus scheduling tadi plus costing, kan? Plus costing. So costing ni dia melibatkan quantity lah, kan? Quantity dia akan you masuk dalam satu software, and dia banyak jenis software lah, kan? Software BIM ni banyak, kan? Saya tak boleh mention kat sini, banyak, so many, sangat banyak. Software developer yang famous, Autodesk, Bentley, banyak lagi lah, actually banyak lagi. So yang selalu kita dengar dua ni, kan? Okay, so 5D is melibatkan costing lah, kan? Melibatkan costing where you masukkan you punya model tu dalam platform dia, so dia boleh generate all the information pasal berapa banyak konkrit, berapa banyak besi dan sebagainya. Okay, so you boleh convert into cost lah. And then 6D, and for sustainability element and the element of energy consumption, kan? Okay, contohnya untuk orientation of the building, kan? So kalau kata you buat orientation north west and compare dengan north south lah, north east, mana yang lagi better in term of energy efficiency, kan? Tengok in term of dia punya sun direction, kan? So disebabkan oleh keadaan dekat Malaysia ni, we need to design bangunan yang orang kata dapat kurangkan penggunaan tenaga elektrik. Tenaga elektrik yang banyak digunakan is for aircon lah, kan? To maintain the human comfort level tu, kan? So that we depend largely on aircon dekat Malaysia ni, and especially for building lah, for building. So when we can design the building yang dapat kurangkan penggunaan tenaga elektrik ni is better compare to kita design yang banyak menggunakan elektrik. Ni dia kait lah pula dengan sustainability kan. And then 7D they more to facility management kan. Facility management ni software dia pakai Archibus kan. Banyak lagi software yang lain yang pasal facility management. Facility management ni maksudnya bila kontraktor dah serahkan kepada klien nak operate building tu, dia nak kena maintain lah all the lift, all the escalator dan sebagainya. Dan penggunaan tenaga dan penggunaan elektrik dekat dalam bangunan tersebut. So they use the facility management, all the maintenance part kan, nak buat proses cleaning dan sebagainya kan. So they use the Archibus software and to check katakan nak kena tukar dia punya komponen mechanical dekat dalam bangunan tu. So dia dapatlah the data daripada Archibus ni. Okay, and then 8Ds kan, and what I'm study right now kan, is for safety and health kan. Integrate with BIM. They specifically for the call as prevention through design kan. So dia nak foresee and what are the risks associated with the design. And contohnya kalau engineers design katakan dia design the conventional in situ kan, dia punya maksudnya dia tahu dia punya structural part yang dia design tu akan menggunakan conventional in situ, cast in situ. Cast in situ tu bermaksud you pakai formwork biasa, you pakai semua biasalah. Pakai formwork, pakai reinforcement bar, pakai labor, intensive labor dan pour the concrete contohnya kan. Compare tu ada lagi satu option, dia buat design output dia pakai precast kan. So which one is better in term of safety dia kan, in term of orang kata dia punya safety and health lah kan. So when you dapat foresee what are the risks associated with the design tu, they call as the safety and health, they call as a dia panggil 8 dimension of BIM lah kan. Maksudnya you dapat information daripada 3D, daripada 4D, daripada 5D, 6D and 7D ni, and then you dapat foresee what are the risks associated with all the information ni. You dapat foresee, dia panggil foresee lah. Foresee, you dapat identify what are the risks associated with the design tu. So you dapat you dapat kenal pasti what are the risks. So you bagi option, satu cast in situ, satu precast. Which one is the better? Kan? So which one is the better? Of course lah, yang elemen cost tu you letak tepi lah. Kan? Kalau elemen cost you letak di peringkat awal, of course kita akan go for cast in situ. Kan? Compare to precast. And as for now, and in the future maybe precast more economical compared to cast in situ. And so as for now, cast in situ is more orang kata harga dia lebih rendah lah compared to precast. And so that is a simple example lah. Banyak lagi lah example yang lain. And BIM scenario in Malaysia. Ini paper saya lah berkenaan dengan BIM and activation trigger for organizational BIM learning, kan. Maksudnya still dalam learning curve and for the construction stakeholders in Malaysia. Okay, so BIM usage in project life cycle. So during planning, design, construct and operate. And so we can use all this technology. This is BIM tool. Dia panggil BIM tool. Contohnya during the planning, and during the planning you can use architectural 4D 3D design. Kalau katakan you nak dapatkan information berkenaan dengan existing project tu, existing project bangunan yang dah lama, katakan bangunan bangunan bersejarah lah, kita tak boleh nak demolish, kita nak dapatkan the dimension of that particular building kan. Boleh je you ambil survey macam biasa, you pergi ambil theodolite, you ambil total station, you ambil bacaan secara manual. Okay, so ada lagi satu cara dia panggil LiDAR system kan. So dia you boleh google what is LiDAR system. And LiDAR system macam dia akan capture, dia akan ambil data, maksudnya dapat information. So information yang selalunya yang as engineers yang kita akan dapatkan in term of dia punya dimension, in term of XYZ lah kan. XYZ ni dia tak boleh tinggal lah kan, dimension kan, lebar berapa, tebal berapa, panjang berapa, dan site condition and then detail in term of dia punya utility and so on lah kan. So LiDAR system ni is more towards XYZ, dia dapatkan dimension of that particular building and dia dapatkan information. Sometimes dia boleh detect pintu, dia boleh detect jenis pintu, dia boleh detect jenis structure yang dipakai kan, dia pakai jenis apa dan sebagainya. Okay, so this is only tool lah, only tool. Maksudnya you still have the option. And kalau kata you nak pakai kaedah konvensional pun boleh, tak ada masalah. And cuma this is the latest tool yang BIM can provide. And okay, so contohnya katakan you as a contractor, you nak submit, okay, as contractor, kadang-kadang you need to submit, dia panggil method statement. Method statement ni ialah apa? Sebelum apa method statement?
Cara kita nak buat kerja kan?
Cara kita nak buat kerja. And method nak buat kerja tu macam mana? Nak lifting, katakan nak buat proses lifting tu. So you akan bagi tahu in dalam satu kertas, you jot down ataupun you lukis sikit lah. And you lukis ataupun you apa nama draw, and you draw and then you draft how the method to be constructed. And instead of you pakai secara manual, you boleh submit kepada kontraktor you pakai video. Kan? So dah banyak dah sekarang ni, especially dia dah boleh banyak you pakai video. So to dapat approval from your client ataupun consultant kan. So that dia tengok video tu dia lebih faham lah. And compare to you submit pakai method statement. Boleh je you pakai method statement, dia baca satu-satu, tak ada masalah kan. So instead of you pakai conventional method, so you boleh pakai software to generate your animation untuk nak show kepada you punya client ataupun you punya consultant to approve your method. Okay, so banyak lagi lah kaedah-kaedah yang digunakan. Maksudnya the tool ni memang terlampau banyak. And cuma at the end of the day you generate the output. And you generate the output, the information. Output is you punya design information tu. And output is as a contractor is you punya output daripada apa yang you construct tu. Kan? So that is the output. And saya always tekankan kat sini output. And output of the design engineers is the drawing tu, is the design solution. So that is the output. Kan? So output of contractor, kan? Katakan engineers for the contractor is to deliver the progress, to deliver the physical progress. So that is the output for contractor punya engineers. Kan? So masing-masing ada dia punya output masing-masing. Architect dia ada output dia, engineers ada output dia, contractor dia ada output dia. Kan? Even client pun dia ada output dia. Kan? So kalau you tengok kat sini the BIM kan, dia dia generate the information become the federated model, kan. Compare to conventional way, kita ada banyak drawing kan, tebal lah drawing. So ada drawing untuk architectural, ada drawing untuk CNS kan, dan sebagainya. And kalau you bekerja dekat site tu kan, satu rak tu semua drawing je. Semua drawing. And dalam A1 size, AO size. And so you sebelum you nak buat tu you nak kena buka lah. And nak tengok all the dimension and so on. So that is the conventional way. The BIM punya teknologi ni, so you boleh tengok dekat you punya workstation saja, kan? Okay, so that all the structural, MEP model, architectural model akan di-federate kan dengan dalam satu file. And kalau kata you nak tengok the architectural model, you boleh apa nama, dekat dalam Revit tu dia ada satu button, kan? Button buka mata, button tutup mata, kan? So that you boleh tengok the M&E saja. You boleh buka dua-dua mata, so you boleh nampak dia lagi serabut lah, kan? Lagi serabut, kan? So banyak information. Means that banyak information lah, nak cerita kat sini banyak information. So you boleh ambil satu-satu information tu. You boleh dapatkan the satu-satu information. So the engineers punya information ni dia memang macam tu lah, dia memang serabut sikit lah. Maksudnya dia nak dapatkan information tu, information in term of the detail information, kan? The detail information. So to be an engineer, you need to be detail lah, kan? Okay, so untuk dia actually ada banyak guideline, kan? Bukan ini saja, dia ada banyak guideline. Kalau as MyBeam punya reference, MyBeam in Malaysia ataupun JKR punya reference, still dia merujuk pada British Standard ni, kan? Ni baru satu, ada banyak lagi guideline, kan? Yang you boleh download lah secara free, kan? Tapi kalau kita nak pakai, kita download lah, kan? So this is specification for information management. So this is kita nak manage information of kita punya project tu, kan? So kita refer to this guideline. How we manage, how you create the CDE tu, how we give access to the client, how we give access to the designer, and who is responsible. So yang ni you nak kena go detail lah. Yang saya cerita ni hanya surface, kan? Saya cerita sikit-sikit tu in detail. So actually benda kalau kita practice, kan, benda tu akan lekat lah, kan? Kalau kata you punya knowledge tu tak practice, of course lah, sometimes peluang tu main, maksudnya peluang tu datang. So bila you enter into the job market, and not everybody dapat peluang untuk terlibat dalam projek BIM ni, kan? Siapa yang berpeluang, so go ahead lah, kan? Siapa yang tak berpeluang, you just take note, kan? Ada teknologi macam ni, kan? Tapi you punya company not adopting yet, tapi you tahu ada teknologi ni, kan? Okay, so Building Smart Malaysia chapter, BIM Institute of Malaysia, JKR, MyBeam Center, and others private companies set their own department for BIM. So that is how the industry started. So this is the guideline, kan, yang you boleh Google, kan? Dapat this for free, kan, through the internet, kan? Okay, so maksudnya all these guideline dia berperanan masing-masing lah. How to use the BIM for collaborative health and safety information, kan? Okay, so actually this is kita based in UK lah, kan? Dia actually ada banyak lagi bodies yang keluarkan the guideline ni, dan tapi as for now in Malaysia we still follow UK lah. sampai 8D kan. And then kita boleh go further for ND kan. So you need to define the end tu kan. So you boleh tengok lah kan. 4D kan. 4D is information in 3D tadi. And information in 3D tu plus the scheduling. And so you boleh integrate kan you punya Microsoft project punya apa